Hi, everybody. Charlie, did you want to say hi to everybody? Not yet? Okay, well, I just restarted the video, so you're... Okay, whatever. Go on.
Hey, guys.
Okay, you good?
Yeah.
Okay, go back to play again.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hold up.
Okay.
This is the left hand.
That's true. My kid's smart. He's smarter than he looks,
See
guys.
that?
This is my left hand. But on the video, it's backwards.
Oh.
With the Mac. Go on. Get out of here.
Okay.
So, I was going to do commentary on the last episode of my Final Fantasy IX stream, which has been going for how long? Where is it? July 12th, 2020 was when I started streaming this. So over 2 years it took me to beat this game. And let's see how many episodes there are. I haven't processed the last two, but okay, so we started in July. And then we worked up to about here, and then I think I took a little break. So episode 6 was probably... July 27th, so that wasn't a break. Oh, I took a break after the 7th, so I came back on the 8th, and that was August, so that wasn't that long of a break. And then I think I took an even longer break. Is it here? Yep, right here. So I went back June 19th, 21 for episode 10, okay? So I played for a little bit, made it up to the end of Burmecia, and then I did one more episode. I think I fought a giant snake or something, and then I ended up beating that snake, and then I took a year off from it. So I made it to episode 10 after the first year. And I remember in 2021, we went on vacations, and I had a little spurt there where I was cruising through the game pretty decently. And I think I stopped right about here. Went on vacation, or right here. Went on vacation. And then I didn't touch it until about 8 months ago. And that's when I started wrapping up the game about 8 months ago. I had a pretty good spurt there as well. So there's also episode 30. So it took me 32 episodes to beat Final Fantasy IX. It's not like it's any longer than any of the other Final Fantasies, but if you take a year off from it, it definitely spreads things out a little bit. So just that intro alone brings me back to a simpler day. Okay. The only problem with not doing any commentary on here is I wasn't able really to express how much I love this game. And Final Fantasy in general. My introduction to Final Fantasy was probably Final Fantasy VII, like everybody else that's my age. But that was something my buddy down the street would play all the time. My buddy David was super into Final Fantasy VII. I became interested in Final Fantasy IX because for Christmas, must have been Christmas 2000, I think this came out. My buddy Brian got this, and my buddy Paul got this game. Okay, hold on. I didn't know what. I never played a turn-based RPG. When I was a kid, my favorite RPG, when I was a little kid, my favorite RPG that I had figured out how to play was Shining Force 2 on the Sega Genesis. My mom started babysitting this weird little kid named David, who's actually was 6'4" by the time we were like 11. But anyways, David. So I shouldn't call him a weird little kid. He's just a weird kid. We became very close when we got older. We kept playing video games and stuff together. He became He's a really good friend of mine. But when I first met him, he was super into Final Fantasy VII. That was his jam. He loved Final Fantasy VII, and I thought it was cool. I was like, okay, whatever. Final Fantasy VIII came out, I think in '99, and my buddy Paul, I was in the 6th grade. I think I spent the night at his house, and his mom was playing Final Fantasy VIII, so she introduced me to Final Fantasy VIII, and I was like, this is fucking awesome. This is fun. So I played that. I played that for a bit. I think I made it up to the trains when you fight the fake president or whatever one night, and I was like, this is fucking cool. Everybody went to bed at my buddy Paul's house, and I was like, can I keep playing this? And they're like, yeah, you can stay up as late as you want to play this. I was like, what? Okay. So Final Fantasy VIII would have probably been the first one I actually sat down and played, because up to that point I just watched David play Final Fantasy VII here and there, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. You know, it's my introduction to like turn-based Japanese like RPG. Well, Shining Force is Japanese. This is my introduction to like the turn-based system that was on PS1. So a year goes by and Final Fantasy IX comes out, and Brian, my best friend Brian, and my buddy Paul they were playing the shit out of this. And I got Majora's Mask. I had an N64 and they had PS1, so I was playing Majora's Mask while Brian was playing Final Fantasy IX. Brian didn't have an N64, so we kind of just like at school or on the phone or whatever, I would tell him what was going on in Majora's Mask, and he'd tell me what was going on in Final Fantasy IX. So I must have been in 2000. I was in 8th grade, 7th or 8th grade. Yeah, this had to 7th. No, it was the end of 2000. It was 8th grade. So the following summer, I think it was the summer right before or after, maybe right after I was a freshman in high school, I ended up getting a PS2. So it had to have been the summer after my freshman year in high school. So this would have been 2002. Yeah, so 2002, I finally got my hands on this, because you could play PS1 games on PS2. And I was like, well, I definitely want to play Final Fantasy IX. And by that point, it was like $20, like greatest hits. So this was my first Final Fantasy that I owned and played through. And it took me about a year to beat, I think. And I was playing it quite a bit. Like, there's a lot going on with this game. I would say most of the Final Fantasies probably took me an extended period of time to play through, because I play other stuff. It's a hard thing to just sit here and play. But the first time I played this was still a pretty fresh game. Now, of course, a year's gonna go by before I touch it, because it's a really dated game and I have new stuff coming out that I want to play, and I take breaks from it because I already played through this. It's a long story, man. I ended up beating it. It must have been going into junior year, so it took me about a year. Probably the summertime or before summertime. I remember I had just gotten System of a Down's Steal This Album. I'd burned a copy of it and had Marmalade on there too, and I would mute my TV and I'd listen to System of a Down. And I had some metal and stuff, and I'd just listen to this awesome music while I played this. But sometimes you'd have to turn the music off and just appreciate this Final Fantasy definitely probably has my favorite soundtrack. And you could say I probably like this better than Final Fantasy VII, and some people would say that's ridiculous because 7 is considered to be the ultimate Final Fantasy. But I after going back and I beat 7, and I never beat 8. I should beat Final Fantasy 8 one of these days. I beat 7, 9, 10. Beat 10. Those were the 3 I think I really put my time. I almost beat 12. I got pretty far into 12. I liked Final Fantasy 12, and then I played a lot of Final Fantasy 4. I don't think I beat Final Fantasy 4 either. But this was the first one I beat. So, and it's funny because on this stream it took me 4 or 5 tries to beat Necron at the end. I think I beat him on my first shot when I played this when I was a kid. I trained a little bit more, or grinded a little bit more. By the time I got to Necron, I destroyed that fool. One thing I'm proud of is, you could say I kind of cheated a little bit because I sped things up and I would turn off encounters. but I never gave myself the limit breaks. I never made it easier with any of those functions. But I like these new Final Fantasies because, especially Final Fantasy VIII with the Guardian Force stuff, nobody wants to watch that shit over and over again. Like, whoa. Or Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII is not as... The reason I didn't stream Final Fantasy VII, because I'm a fan of Final Fantasy VII, it's not dated as well. It's rough around the edges. It's not a good-looking game anymore. And I know a lot of people who are bigger fans of like 9 or 8, they want remakes. And it's like, I don't feel like Final Fantasy 9 really needs a remake. I feel like this still looks cool. Like, it looks good. This is like the ultimate Final Fantasy out of the PlayStations, I thought. I like the characters. I feel like you have a pretty cool like team of weirdos. Final Fantasy VIII comes up a little short with their characters because they're all human. They're like, it's like a teenager thing. It's like the Degrassi Final Fantasies, which is for a 35-year-old man. I need something a little cooler. Steiner's my favorite dude. I named him Meatball in this. I've always messed with the names on these games. I'm not that strict on the original names. Same with Pokemon. I always change Pokemon's names to something ridiculous. But this still looks good. And in Final Fantasy VII, the battles still look pretty good, but it's just that, man, the weird little nub arm things, the sticks with circles, it doesn't look as good as this to me. And this game has a far superior ending than the other two Final Fantasies that came before. Hey, what are you doing in here? Hey, don't ignore me. Let me get this cat. I thought, as an adult with like an income and working and stuff, I went back. I haven't beaten, but I played through a lot of the original Final Fantasy. Didn't care about Final Fantasy 2. And Final Fantasy 3 I played on the Nintendo DS, and I'm on the final boss of that. I can't beat the final boss of Final Fantasy 3. Played a lot of 4. I have 5 and 6 on the PS1. What are you doing, Charlie? You need a poop? Why don't you close the door? Yeah, I know, but we can see... You close the door? Just close it so we can't see you in there. There you go. Jeez, kid. So I played Final Fantasy 1 through 12. I remember playing Final Fantasy 11 was a big deal when it first came out because that was like, I don't give a fuck about World of Warcraft, you know. So I'll check out Final Fantasy. I played as the Galkas, but I'm not a big MMORPG guy. It's a little too. You need to really put some time and effort into like an MMORPG that I'm not really willing. This is supposed to be something I turn on to enjoy like for an hour or two and then move on with my day. So I played 13. I thought 13 was beautiful looking, but was missing a lot of stuff that I like about Final Fantasy. For the most part, the combat in that's good though. I like what they did with the combat in 13. And I even played 14. I got 14 for $10 on the PS4. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not into it as much as I was when I was 13 or 14. This is my jam. But as a grown up, it's kind of like I'm most excited right now. The most I'm excited for a game right now is Callisto Protocol. Hopefully gonna get that for Christmas, maybe stream a little bit of that. And I'm interested in that Resident Evil 4 remake. It's silly though. Like my wife and I were looking at game systems because I have a PS4 that I've been playing since for 6 years now, 7 years. I'm not really interested in any of the new game systems. There's not anything coming out to where, and the price of them now, like a PS5 is what, like 700. I think I've seen them going for 900 on some sites. If you're gonna sell a game system for $900, wouldn't it be more? I feel like it'd be a better financial transaction to just buy a gaming PC if I was gonna go that route, you know, and get something cool for that, and just start playing games on Steam. But like Starfield looks cool, I guess. I don't know, man. I guess I'm just getting old. Like my favorite game system right now is my Nintendo Switch. I get on there and play. I've been playing Pokemon Pearl. I don't even care about the new Pokemon. I guess that's my favorite RPG right now is Pokemon Pearl. When I first started playing that, I was like, oh, this is just like a Game Boy game, like whatever, you know. And then when you beat it, it unlocks like 1,000 more Pokemon to go find. So I was like, well, I need Charizard, right? And I got I want Mewtwo. Yeah, I got a Charizard on Pearl, Charlie. So I don't know. So actually, what I should do, give me a second here. I should fast forward this a little bit. So I took a couple shots at Necron. I went in here and tweaked him a little bit because he has like Grand Cross or something, and it adds ailments to all your party members. And so I was like, on episode 31, the previous episode before 32, because you know, if you know numbers, 31 comes before 32. I need to clarify that, I guess. That fucking dragon that you have to fight when you come in here, I fought it one time like a year ago, and I was like, oh, I need to like kill some more grand dragons or something before I try this again. I'm pretty sure I beat it with like Vivi at like 1 HP and everybody else dead. Is that right? We might go back and watch that. I thought that was kind of cool. This is gonna spoiler alert. This will have a similar ending. My boo Doris is gonna save the day with her idol ones. One of my buddies I was talking to, who's a huge fan of that Final Fantasy IX, he's like, "Are you ever gonna beat that on your YouTube?" And I was like, "I hope so." I got everything else beat other than like Chrono Cross, and I don't know. I might stream some more of that. My favorite RPGs of all time: Shining Force 2, Final Fantasy 9, Chrono Cross. Those are like my favorite like turn-based RPGs. Shining Force is a strategy RPG that I really like. Shining Force 2. Yeah. I have to go wipe my son's butt. Give me a second. Okay. So I was prepping. I did a little better job. I guess I did a slightly better job at prepping my dudes for this part. Kind of just seeing what items I had and typical RPG shit. I'm trying to think of some other cool. Those are the three that are like that have always stayed with me, and I like Western styled RPGs as well. Like I love Elder Scrolls is like my jam. Baldur's Gate's cool. At a moment where I was playing a lot of Neverwinter Nights, so I like stuff like that. But You gotta give it if you're into the turn-based system. Here you go. Oh, what did I say? I said Final Fantasy IX, Chrono Cross, and Shining Force 2. The original Pokemon, and then like Zelda, I guess. I mean, Zelda's a action RPG, but uh, turn-based RPGs. This is always kind of been up there. It's a big deal. I played it. I'm trying to think of some more RPGs I played on PS2. Because when I got a little bit older, turn-based kind of went away. Like by Final Fantasy 12 was played like the combat became different. They changed it. The newest turn-based game I played RPG wise was Like a Dragon. Yakuza Like a Dragon, which is fucking awesome. And it's been a while before that. That's kind of the cool thing about nowadays, though, is it's easy for them to port these games over. And then you get cool things like I wouldn't be able to play this on the PS1 ever again. I got that PS1, the classic PS1, and it has Final Fantasy VII on there. I ain't gonna play it on there because I can get on my PS4 and play it with the fast forward and the turning off encounters. You can kind of speed up the monotony of these games. They are monotonous, like they're repetitive, and like this Grand Cross thing. I want to watch this 50 times. You can see me switching back and forth. That's all I'm doing. That was the dumbest thing about something on Final Fantasy VII. You just hit a button and it'll fast forward or slow down or turn off encounters. On this, I think they decided to pause it because maybe people were accidentally hitting fast forward. I don't know. But they did this for all three ports. Or all three, remasters. This is remastered. This looks prettier than on the PS1. I have all three on the PS4, and I ended up getting 8 on the Switch because I played my Switch a bit more. Oh, how do you get rid of Ghost? He like fucking permanently killed my main guy, and I was like, well, guess we're gonna have to do this fight again. I didn't, fortunately, but like you took out my main dude on the final fight. Like, what is that? I didn't know. I didn't want to. I gave up at this point. I was like, well, I'll just follow through and see if I can. Because I know Necron has a really low HP count. Like I said, the first time I played this when I was a kid, I beat him on my first shot. I also beat on Final Fantasy X. One of the hardest bosses in the game supposedly is Yunalesca, and I beat her on my very first shot. It took me probably like an hour to fight that thing, and I beat her on my first go through. I remember going to school the next day and telling my friend Patrick, he's like, dude, that took me like 10 tries to beat that thing. So I was cool for a day. And when I was playing these when we were kids, this was like a lot of people, because where I live, I'm from like the boondocks. Dude, I have a bunch of friends who like have rifles and go out hunting and are cowboys and stuff. Those motherfuckers were eating this stuff up. They thought this was cool. Like this wasn't like reading comics and playing D&D in the 80s where you were kind of outcasted. This was like pretty common for kids to be into. Like this shit blew up for a minute. Like people were, I was talking to people I wouldn't normally talk to, because I'm a geek, but like I was talking to football players and stuff because everybody was into this shit. This was a cool game, like for its time. It was fun. Steiner is my all-time favorite Final Fantasy character. He is a badass. His girlfriend's hotter than all other women. I love Steiner. Even if he's wearing eyeshadow, like he's still cool, dude. Goron? Give me a break. What's the black mage in Final Fantasy X Lulu. It's Lulu. She's pretty hot. I like Yuna too. Yuna, I like the main chick in Final Fantasy X a little bit better. I think she's a good character. She's going through some stuff. Meg Ryan though in Final Fantasy X, what's his name? Yeah, Meg Ryan. The main guy, Titus. People always correct me on that. It's not Titus, it's Titus. Titus is a way cooler name than Titus. So I'm still holding my own. It's gonna get a little more dire for me pretty quick here. I think the original time I played this, I grinded all my guys up to level 60 before I tried this. And I didn't use Ico, I had VV. My VV was a lot more fleshed out and powerful. That's the one problem with taking a year off from these games is you kind of like lose track of what you're working on. I lost. How embarrassing. Oh, wait. Is Doris going to save the day? At this point, I went, fuck it. Let's see if it just takes one more hit. Look, I'm not even healing. I'm just like, well, maybe one more. That auto regen and auto life effect is pretty freaking cool. This game had a cool concept where you take abilities from items, so it has you switching up and upgrading your items. So you might put on an item on your guy that might not necessarily raise all your strats, but it adds a new element of like, well, I want those rebirth earrings in this character for right now, and then you master those abilities, so you're moving forward and you're switching items between characters. It was cool. Similar to they did something new with. Look, I beat that one. He's dead. So dope. This is a really long ending. I don't think we're gonna watch the whole ending. I wanted to get on here because I hadn't talked at all. Final Fantasy IX is a great game. I think if you're watching this, or if you're bothering to watch this, you probably already know this. But if you don't, hey, it's on the PS4, it's on the Switch, it's on everything. Like, check out Final Fantasy IX. It held up. It's fun. He's like, you can't kill me, I'm God. I'll be back. At the very beginning of the game, if you guys remember, you're Vivi and you're going to wherever the fuck this is, Alexandria for the first time to go watch a concert being put on by these pirate-like characters. And so you make friends with this rat named Puck or whatever, Duck. He's a prince of wherever. I'm tiring. I've become fatigued. Anyways, Vivi's been like procreating with something, dude. Because look at all these kids he pooped out in like a couple years. Like he farted some babies out. There's a bunch of little babies. So this is cool. This actually gives you resolve to all of the characters in the game. Final Fantasy VII ends and they stop the meteor and there's a little girl looking out the window and it fucking ends and that's the end of the story. And it's like, I guess that's cool, but like, what happened with these characters? I know Freya got back with her homeboy and they're gonna rebuild their home. Um, the hottest character in the game, Beatrix, she has a British woman's accent. Total freaking babe. Huge crush on her. I'll admit it. I'm not afraid. Quina is a cook now, which, she loves food. Steiner and Beatrix end up together. Everybody's happy except for Doris, who's like, where's Zidane? So this game ends with a new play from these guys. And it's kind of like, this is a cool ending. I love this ending because it's like, it goes back, it's gone full circle. We're in the same kind of situation with our main character, Princess Garnet. She's sad and alone again, and she's back to living a meaningless life, which is what was her greatest fear. She didn't want to be queen. She didn't want to be a princess. She wanted to like get out into the world, which she got to do because of Zidane and his crew. And they saved the world. They freaking fought God. They killed Kuja. They did all this crazy shit, and now she's back to where she was at the beginning of the game. This is full circle, great ending to a video game. I love it. And the big reveal. Who do you think is under the cloak? Is it Marcus? There's a character named Marcus. No, it's him. Now they're back together. Love this shit, dude. This is definitely more of like a Disney type like cartoon story, which is what you kind of want. Like, if you're playing a Final Fantasy game, you're probably not expecting like blood and guts and nonsense like that. You want something kind of cute and wholesome and happy, and something you can play with your kids. Oh my god, look how fucking hot she is, though. Damn. Fine. Of course, my boy Steiner would go for that. That is the difficult thing about playing these games at my age, is I would be a creep if I was talking about how hot Princess Garnet is. Although there are dudes out there who do probably have a crush on her, and it's creepy. It's like the guy, my dad used to work at EA Sports. There's a guy he had a little shrine for the Pink Ranger, and it's like, this dude was my age now. He was like 35 at the time, and it was like a 16-year-old girl. I was 7, and I was creeped out by that. Basically, she's a little girl. That's why I have to go for like a Beatrix, which I thought Beatrix was fine back then, or Freya. I'm a Freya man. I definitely like that little rat tail. Aww, she missed him. So she throws her crown away, and she's gonna be with him, and they're gonna go and travel and be happy together. You got all your characters clapping, and it's a good ending. Yeah, hold that sword with him. Wonderful ending. And then the credits are good. This is my only problem with the ending of this. This crap is whatever. The final song is atrocious. I do not like the final song of this game. The woman singing is just. I'm sure there's a different version, but like, here, I'll give you a little taste. Yuck. So we'll skip that because I just watched all this bullshit. And so concludes the 32 episode, 32 hour stream, Final Fantasy IX. Thank you, Tamayoki Takechi and Hisashi Suzuki. Appreciate all the hard work. Thank you, Hironobu Sakaguchi, for your conception. Papa bless. I'm out. was cool, dude. Will you do that? Do that one more time. No, run out of the room and do it again. Full take.
Get back.
Yeah, that was rad, dude. You should do that from now on.
Okay.
All right, bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.